Welcome to this second part of Business Africa. It is nicknamed the business of death, and yet it is becoming more and more popular in African countries. Fake medicines continue to be consumed on the continent despite the human and economic damage. About 100 deaths in Africa each year, and nearly 42% in a market of $1.5 billion per year in the French-speaking sub-Saharan Africa. Details of John David Mihamle and Eric Oteng.
The counterfeit drug industry in Africa is growing, to the great despair of professionals in the sector. The Association of French-speaking Pharmaceutical Industries last week in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, launched an initiative to end this dangerous but extremely lucrative venture. The pharmaceutical market in French-speaking sub-Saharan Africa is worth $1.2 billion a year. 42% of this amount is siphoned off by counterfeit drugs, according to the WHO. Africa is worst affected by the scourge of counterfeit drugs in the world. However, the continent is responsible for only 3% of drugs manufactured globally. Nearly 126 million counterfeit medicines were seized by the World Customs Organizations at 16 African ports. Nigeria, which accounted for the final destination of 35% of these seizures, is considered to be the main gateway for counterfeit medicines on the continent, with nearly 1,400 illegal entry points. Most of these counterfeit products come from mainly China, India, Paraguay, and the United Kingdom, according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. In economic terms, trafficking in counterfeit drugs generates 500 times more revenue for criminal organizations than cocaine trafficking.
Good news for the Kenyan economy with the Treasury's announcement of its expenditure reduction for the 2019 to 2020 fiscal year, $445 million less than in the previous year. A salutary decision, according to the authorities. The revenues generated by these cuts will help to pursue many development projects, currently estimated at nearly $3.6 billion. Michael Dibe and Bryce Kewu with more.
Kenya's central bank has retained its benchmark lending rate at 9.0% due to the relatively stable inflation rate. Central Bank Governor Patrick Njoroge, who chaired the Monetary Policy Committee MPC meeting in the capital Nairobi, said the Apex Bank will continue to closely monitor developments in the global and domestic economy, including any perverse response to its previous decisions. The governor noted that the overall inflation is expected to remain within the target range in the near term, mainly due to expectations of low food prices with the expected favorable weather conditions. According to the MPC, inflation expectations remain well anchored within the target range and that the economy was operating close to its potential. The bank said the East African nation inflation rate fell to 5.0% in August from 6.3% in July, reflecting decreases in the prices of both vegetable and non-vegetable food crops due to improved supply.
That's the end of this edition. Thank you for watching. We invite you to follow us on our social media pages at Africanews and at Africanews FR for French. Continue watching our programs. Goodbye.